The men's ice hockey team continues their hot streak.
And the football team sneaks into the NCAA tournament.
All this and more coming up on All Access. Welcome to All Access. I'm Sandra Hilla.
And I'm Pete Narado. Maria is gambling her life savings away, and Chris is preparing for the holiday shopping season.
Yes, Maria is in warmer weather, and Chris, well, he's in line at the mall right now, so let's start this show.
The Rowan University's men's swim team defeated Swarthmore College 152-107 on Saturday afternoon. Winning here, the Profs remain on a season-long hot streak, improving their record to an unbeaten 6-0. Rowan's team effort was best in the 200-meter medley relay, where they finished first with a time of 1 minute and 38 seconds individually. The Profs won 8 different events. Rowan hosts Pace University on Saturday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. and looks to keep the ball rolling and continue their winning ways.
The Rowan University women's swim team won 149-107 Swarthmore College on Saturday, November 15th. With this win, the Profs improved to a stellar 6-2 record. Rowan took first place in the 200-meter medley with a time of 1 minute and 54 seconds. They also took first in the 200-meter freestyle with a time of 1 minute and 41 seconds. Next week, Rowan looks to continue their impressive season, where they will take on Pace University on Saturday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. at home.
Rowan men's basketball kicked off the 2014-2015 season hosting the Rowan University Invitational with their first game against Penn State Brandywine. With crushing advantages in bench points and points in the paint, Rowan went on to defeat Penn State 107-69 on November 15th for a 1-0 start. The win also advanced the team into the championship of the Invitational. The Profs jumped out to a 52-39 first-half lead with 2 players, forward Ike Robinson and guard Josh Borelli, coming off the bench for double figures in points. Rowan continued to pour it on in the second, shooting 57% from the field, up from the 57.5% in the first half. The team never trailed and near the end of the game held a 41-point lead over the Nittany Lions. Robinson had a team high in scoring with 20 points, adding 6 rebounds, and forward Chris Gross added 12 points with 8 boards.
Following an opening round victory in the 4-team Rowan University Invitational, Rowan's men's basketball continued to dominate the tournament, blazing past Lehman College with 74-57 in the championship game on November 16th. Lehman advanced to the final game by a 78-74 margin in a double overtime win over Newman University. The Profs and the Lighting both shot under 50% in the opening half, but guard Chris O'Connor, 16-point effort on a 5-8 shooting helped Rowan to a 48-31 lead. O'Connor continued to lead the team, adding another 8 points and making all 3 shots from the floor. The guard would be named the tournament's most valuable player in the Profs Invitational win. Rowan will look at the build on a 2-0 start, to the season with the start of the conference play at the Ramapo College on November 22nd.
The men's ice hockey team started a weekend doubleheader with a huge 4-1 victory over Wagner University. 4 different Profs would have goals on the night. Left wing Alekos Polis led the team in points with 2, 1 goal, 1 assist, along with center Robert Wilworth. Rowan's goalie Cody Riley had another fantastic night, making 41 saves on the 42 shots that he faced. For Wagner, forward Dan Reno got the lone goal late in the third period. Seahawks goalie Steve Saddlemeyer made 53 saves on the 56 shots that he faced. The loss puts the Seahawks record at 5-4-2. For the Profs, they would return for a matchup against Millersville.
And the men's ice hockey team would dominate against Millersville, winning 8-2. In the first, Millersville would take a 1-0 lead with a goal from forward Nicholas Malarkey. The Profs would begin their offensive domination afterwards. The team would score 8 straight goals. Profs forward Shane Brennan would start the scoring. notching 2 straight goals. Brennan would score 1 more goal in the third to get himself the hat trick. Some of the other profs scoring on the night were Robert Wilworth and Alexos Polius. Cody Riley also had another fantastic night, stopping 18 of the 20 shots he faced. The win gives him 9 wins of the year. As for the profs, they are now 10-2 of the season. For Millersville, this loss drops them to 10-9 on the season.
Now, after not airing an episode last week, we just wanted to congratulate all the fall sports. When we last left off, you guys, the field hockey teams, and the women's volleyball team were in the conference tournament championships. Unfortunately, both teams lost in those tough games, but the volleyball team was defeated by Stockton College 3-0, while the field hockey team lost to the College of New Jersey 3-2 in overtime.
Now switching gears to the world of pro sports, we have Cody Decker in this week's edition of Pro Talk.
Thanks, Sandra. The NFL announced on Tuesday that Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson will be suspended without pay for the rest of the 2014 season. The All-Pro running back pleaded no contest to misdemeanor reckless assault in early November, as quoted by the league, to be an incident of abusive discipline against his son. On Thursday, the NFL Players Association filed an appeal for Peterson, noting their key argument that the NFL did not act in a consistent manner in regards to the collective bargaining agreement's due process. The running back remains on the commissioner's exempt list, but hopes to return to the field in 2014. If the appeal is not overturned, Peterson would not be reinstated until mid-April of 2015. Now, as the situations of these domestic violence cases unfold, it is clear there is disagreement between the NFLPA and NFL officials in revising the personal conduct policy and making it more fair. The question now is when the two sides collaborate and compromise on a revision of the policy. Spoiler alert, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen anytime soon. To the NBA, where there are many players that have made an impact so far this season. Kobe Bryant is the leading scorer with 28 points per game. King James rebounded after a slump in the first few games back with Cleveland. And Eric Bledsoe thinks the Kentucky Wildcats can beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Pretty bold statement. Yet one player to me who has stood out above all the rest is center of the New Orleans Pelicans, Anthony Davis. Davis is in his 3rd season with the Pelicans and is playing like a 10-year veteran. Through 10 games where the Pelicans are 6-4 on the season and early on are in a highly contested Southwest Division race, Davis ranks 3rd in scoring in the league with 25 points per game, 5th in rebounding with 11 per game, tied for 1st in steals with 2 per game, and leads in blocks with 4 per game. He is already being compared to some of the great centers of all time, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Robinson, and other legends of the game. Now, everyone knew this kid would be a superstar coming out of Kentucky, and the undisputed future face of a franchise wherever he landed. And now we are seeing the making of a legend unfold just at the age of 21. Now, again, the season is still very early, but at the pace he is going, Davis could statistically have the best season for a center in NBA history. And it seems as if he has not hit the peak of his performance just yet. Davis surely is a team leader for a young Pelicans team and an early candidate for NBA MVP. Finally, in the Major League Baseball, where we take a look at the contract extension signed by Marlins outfielder Giancarlo Stanton. The National League MVP runner-up signed a 13-year, $325 million extension with the Miami Marlins this past Monday. The contract is on record as the richest contract in the history of sports, surpassing Alex Rodriguez's 10-year, $275 million contract signed with the New York Yankees in 2007. The Marlins clearly believe in Stanton as the face of the franchise the next 13 years, but are they and Stanton making a mistake? The Marlins are coming off a 77-85 season, placing 4th in the National League East. This deal takes away many options to re-sign young players who could potentially be superstars in the near future. Putting the success of the franchise in the hands of one player can be risky for the future of the Marlins. Keep in mind the recent history of big contract signings have not produced success in Miami. For Stanton, he does have a no-trade clause in the contract and can opt out of the deal after 6 years. Yet Stanton wants to win in this league. With this formula in place by the Marlins franchise, it does not seem on paper that is going to happen in the next 3 or so years. It's confusing to see how Stanton thinks the Marlins are going to be winners and playoff contenders in the next 3 or so seasons, but there is still an entire offseason to see what moves the Marlins are willing to make. Coming up on All Access, Pete and Sandra will have more Rowan sports updates. But when we come back, our very own Pete Inarado sat down with 94.1 WIP's own Merrill Reese.